What's the dumbest thing you've accidentally said while trying to say two things at once? Got a notification at a drive-thru that it was my friend's birthday and ended up telling the person happy birthday instead of my order. Handed someone the spiced cider and said here's your spider. I was trying to say no problem to a customer on the phone and I accidentally said nope. Real enthusiastically and hung up. Oops. I'm just imagining someone yelling nope into a phone, slamming it down with a huge smile on their face, then just staring off into space with a big dumb smile on their face as they realize what they've done. I tripped going upstairs at my university. Several people came over to make sure I was okay. I'm fine. Just my shins and my ego bruised. So I was trying to make light of it by joking walking is hard and stairs are tricky at the same time. But I just ended up squawking stairs hard in a girl's face before I ran off. Sigh. Why use many word when few word do trick? My buddy did something and instead of saying my boy did blah blah or my friend did blah blah I said my boyfriend. I was taking to my girlfriend and she often asks me how my boyfriends are doing now. I deliver pizzas and I usually deliver in the evenings, so I always tell people, have a great night. One day, I got switched to day shift, and after my first delivery, my brain tried to say, have a great night, and have a good day. At the same time, and it somehow came out, have a gay Davy. I said hi to a cashier at McDonald's when going to say hi and then mid-sentence changing my mind and saying hello. My mom was cutting a cake at my cousin's birthday party. I was trying to ask her can I have a tiny piece and can I have an itty bitty piece and it came out as can I have a titty. Hockey and soccer are my two favorite sports. This one happened to a coworker. We worked at an ice cream parlor. I came in early because the delivery guy was going to show up with more ice cream, and I had to help unload it. My coworker was supposed to be there too to run the front and serve coffee while I dealt with the delivery. She was late, however, which left me in a bad situation because I couldn't do both. I called the manager to let him know, and he said he'd call back in half an hour and if she wasn't there he'd come in himself. Luckily, she showed up, followed immediately by the ice cream. I went back to handle the delivery and the phone rang. I called out that's Rob. Tell him you're here and so is the ice cream. She picked up the phone and cheerfully said hi. I'm a screamer. I would pay $50 to have seen his face. I'm a semi-bilingual Canadian, and some things just sound better in French than in English. Hell, some things just sound better in a horrible Fringlish mix, favorite being KCEQ the f***. This means that, sometimes, I will greet people with a hello, how's it going, and, sometimes, with a bonjour, CAVA, and sometimes, some special times, my brain apparently decides to do both things at once and produces a very special compound word, typically ejaculated at high volume to people on first meeting. My friend was absolutely trouncing us in a custom game of Halo 3. He wanted to say I'm wiping the floor with you guys and I'm kicking your asses. Instead he came out with I'm wiping your asses. It's all gay. That's a combination of it's okay and it's all good. Oh god, my friend was at a cafe with her mom talking about the film A Star is Born and a woman came in with a border collie dog. My friend very enthusiastically asked if that was a Bradley Cooper. I was leaving after the second date with my now husband, talking with him through the open door of my car. Stomach was still all fluttery. I was trying to sound like a normal human being, inviting him to message me about a day that would be good for us to meet again. Meant to say either, hit me up, or, shoot me a message. Ended up with, shoot me up, shit, shit shit shit. Smiled stupidly and drove away, hoping he didn't notice. He noticed. But he went out with me again anyway. We'll be celebrating our 1-year wedding anniversary in February. Not really two things, but my mother one asked a shop assistant if they had any McLean's toothpaste, supposed to say McLean's toothpaste. Was at work in a status meeting with coworkers. I wanted to say that I was going to either bug or bother a client about something. Ended up saying I'll bugger them, and it turns out bugger means something very different. I was having an argument with a close friend of mine over something that has been lost to time, probably about something nerdy. This was back in high school. But all I remember is wanting to yell, "You want to fight me?" and "F you," which ultimately came out as "You want to f me." My friend quickly went pale, evaluated his options as I raced to correct myself, and promptly left my house. Guess I won that argument. We didn't f till years later though, lol. I used to manage a restaurant where I would commonly greet customers, then take them to their table with a "follow me" or "come inside." One day I slipped up with a "come inside me." I was at an event with a lot of guests who only spoke English. I'm French. So, I spent the day juggling between the two languages. At the end of the day, it started raining. Pretty hard. Now, in English, the expression is "it rains cats and dogs." In French, the expression literally means "it rains like a cow who is peeing." I somehow mix up both of them. And I said to a lot of Englishmen and women, "It rains cows." They seemed a bit worried. I know uses that exclusively, both in English and French. Teaching The Hobbit to 8th graders. Trying to lead discussion on one of the earlier chapters. When the dwarves make a mess of Bag End. Meant to talk about Bilbo's dishes, ended up saying "dildos bitches" to my class of middle schoolers. I once asked a customer if they were taking in or eating out. I work in a contact center. One day a customer called regarding an order, nothing major, and at the end of the call he thanked me. My standard response is "no worries," but for some reason my brain also wanted to say "you're welcome." It came out as "your problem," and I kinda wanted to die in that moment. This is gonna sound weird on its own, but I was trying to say Barney and puberty in the same sentence and said Barbati. My friend was being an asshole, so I was going to say "I'll beat yo ass" and stop being a dick. It came out as "I'll beat yo dick." Yar, I now wish I wasn't alive. I attempted to call someone boo-boo and baby at the same time and ended calling him booby. I can never go back to that McDonald's. Okay, but why were you calling a McDonald's employee either of those names? I said to my uncle once, "F you" instead of "thank you." I wasn't trying to say two things though. I was just a stupid kid with poor English trying to speak to an uncle who is living in the US in English. For some reason as a kid they sounded very similar to me. It was early in the morning and I had basically just peeled myself from bed, and as I was leaving the house my stepmom said goodbye to me. Me being on complete autopilot replied with a sleepy yeehaw, then went on with my day. I'm not even American, so idic why I said it. I had to come home that day and explain that I was just tired and didn't mean to say yeehaw. Replied with a sleepy yeehaw, then went on with my day. I'm not even American, so idic why I said it. Do non-Americans think Americans say yeehaw regularly? Look, if you're all going to pretend all British people pip pip cheerio our way to high tea, we're going to pretend you all root and toot your way down to Walmart or whatever. I was trying to say "taste my Nerf gun" and "I'm gonna shoot you," and I ended up saying "taste my shoot goot." A dear friend of mine is an author. Anytime he puts out a new book, he always signs a copy for me to display in my classroom. We had been out drinking one night and he, in his drunken state, got really lippy and was about to get his ass kicked. I stepped in and defended him, getting decently injured in the process. As we were driving home, he slurred out, "Thanks for shaving my ass, man," instead of "thanks for saving my ass, man." A few weeks later, I got a copy of his new book that had his slur inscribed. I keep the book in my classroom, and occasionally, a student will pick it up and read the inscription. When they ask about it, I just smile and tell them I'll tell them the story when the graduate. Just gonna leave this here. I was on high school academic team. I rang in to answer a question, intending to say either groundhog or woodchuck. I ended up saying ground chuck. That was not the answer. Tried to say nice shot and nice hit at the same time to my grandpa while we were golfing. I said nice shit. My one friend was halfway between saying 24/7 and 7 days a week, so he ended up saying 47 days a week. I was talking to one of my coworkers and I was trying to say "I'm going to go poop," and we were talking about how ready we were to go eat lunch, and what came out was "I'm going to go eat poop now." Playing online with friends, I replied to something cool that happened with a combination of cool plus sweet, which got me, "Wow, queet." It lives on to this day. Got stoned once. And in a fit of laughter said to a friend, "No, you misunderstood me." I was the only kid at an adult party with my mother and stepdad barbecue and sports patio party. I was asked by the group of adults which team I liked more, Cubs or Sox. The party becomes divided, chanting for me to pick either one or the other. In a frantic attempt to appease both groups, I frantically yelled, "I like cocks." You could hear a pin drop. I dropped my head and went outside. I was out with my friend, and the weather was pretty, camping weather. She looked at me and said with emphatic certainty we should pinch a tit. I was visibly confused and said I was good. My tits were fine where they were. She wanted to pitch a tent, not pinch a tit. Happened a day ago. Me and a friend were talking about a test, and she worried she was going to get a bad grade. I wanted to say, "I'm sure you'll get a good grade," and so I ended up saying, "I'm sure you'll get a bad grade. Happy Thanksgiving, you failure." Called someone a head. Took a while to brake while approaching a red light. My friend in the back seat tried to say watch out, and oh shit, but ended up saying whooshy whooshy whooshy. I once handed someone a bowl of soup, and the words "careful, it's hot and it's tomato soup" got crushed together into "careful, it's soup." Yesterday I said I eat a Thanksgiving on turkey in front of all my coworkers during lunch. One time I was in class and we got super off track and were talking about clowns for some reason. My friend said he hated clowns. I meant to say that's because clowns freaking suck, and I ended up saying that's because clowns sucking are it me while I was trying to yell that scared me, and trying to censor myself and just yell it scared me. Your red is very nose. My time to shine. I was in the army at the time and doing a guarding shift at the base's back entrance. There was this rule that if a high-ranking officer came through you had to salute them, which no one ever cared about, even the officers. So one day this super high-ranking officer drives in, don't know the name of his rank in English, came through. I take his ID to look at it, then back at him. Then I realized who he was. So I saluted with his ID in my hand, the wrong hand as well, and said a combination of the words thank you and good morning, which turned out something like this munch you but in my language, so it was even funnier. I don't think he noticed, so all good. I was super embarrassed though. It was summer and it was hot as heck. I was out walking in the street with my friends. I tried to said the sun is in the top, and hey, let's put sun cream so we don't get burned, but my crush looked at me at that moment, so I said hey, let's burn the sun. I was at work at my retail job and this old couple came in while I was standing alone at my register by the door. The woman turns to me and says, "Can I ask you a question?" I start to say go ahead when my brain decides to switch to ask away. Out of my mouth comes, "Go away." I once mixed up the words rapist and racist and accidentally called my uncle a rapist at a family dinner after he made an off-color joke. Introducing my neighbor. He was raced bikes bicycles. Introduced him as Rodney the racist racer, cyclist. Earlier today, was attempting to emphasize how much I endorsed a particular burrito filling to a colleague and inadvertently portmanteaued recommend. 10 out of 10 would recommend again. Meant to say this'll blow your mind. Ended up saying this'll blow your mom. I was once carrying some food to some tables for Thanksgiving, and my brother asked what's in the bowls and my dad asked how was your day, so I just shuffled over while saying my day was gravy. A friend of mine once tried to say eject, evacuate, yet ended up with ejaculate. I love when shit in KSP goes haywire. I used to have a coworker who spoonerized the beginnings of words all the time in conversation with customers. My favorite was the time a customer asked him what flavor soup we had that day. "Ah yes. Today's soup is mourgette and mushroom." I cannot for the life of me ever pronounce fruit flies correctly the first time. It always comes out as flute fries. Always. Fortunately, I rarely have to say it. Looks up at options. Reese's Pieces. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Reese's Penis. I think I was ordering a McFlurry. 3 quick stories. 1 in elementary school. In class, I once called my teacher mommy. Not mom or mother, but mommy. 2. I also more than once ended the Pledge of Allegiance with Amen. 3 years later, when I was in the military, I was on a field exercise where we had a chow tent rather than a dining hall. This was in Alaska, and at night it got really cold. Now, I am not a fan of hot beverages, because I have been scalded by hot coffee more than once. And I have decided I don't like the taste of burnt tongue. As a substitute, I thought I would drain off the fluid from the pan of peas that were being replaced on the serving line table. It happens that peas are my favorite vegetable, and I had heard that most of the nutritional value of canned vegetables is in the fluid in the can more so than the vegetables themselves. So I thought, warm beverage that tastes good and has nutritional values. So I poured the fluid into my canteen cup and sipped it. Nirvana. That stuff was fantastic. I couldn't help moaning in delight. A friend heard me vocally relishing the stuff, and looked at it, but it was easy to see that the greenish beverage was not coffee, so he asked what I was drinking. I replied. I have no idea why I stopped there. Talking about TV shows, I tried to say Disney and Nick. Said Dick in front of my whole family. Dickelodeon. Server at a restaurant checking in on a table 2 bites into their entrees. Brain couldn't decide on is everything good? Or is everything okay? Settled on is everything gay? Tried to say either tomato sauce or marinara sauce and ended up saying tamara sauce. Came home after a hard day of 5th grade. I decided I wanted a snack. Do note that that day at school me and the boys were for some reason talking about dicks. This, combined with the fact that I was hungry, made my brain combine the 2 thoughts to make the sentence. I'm so hungry I could eat a dick. I am a straight male. My mom was in the other room and to this day I don't know if she heard me.